College is a waste of time and a scam for most people in America specifically. Can't talk about other countries, but America, in my lived experience, very scammy. But one of the wisest things that will stick with me for the rest of my life was told to me by a professor in college, but he was from Jamaica, okay? And he was a dance professor. So, crazy to think a dance professor gave me the most impressive piece of info, which I didn't understand at the time, but I understand more now than ever before that it doesn't matter what you're doing with your life as long as what you're doing is making you happy. And not like, the pretend kind of happy is like, oh, I'm doing something that I love, so I'm happy. Like, you could be financially struggling and doing something that you love, and you might not be so happy with your life. So that's what we do on this channel. We show you the options that you have in this life. Explore your options around the world, because when you're getting schooling from America, I think the assumption is you're going to end up living in America. And we're sort of wanting to break out the matrix with this channel. We have more options than just living in America, as we know this economy is kicking our butt. And, we're not really getting the fruits of our labor for the work that we do. And I wanted to explore that with people who have traveled the world, people who have stayed in America and are showing the results of what happens if you stay in America. So let's get right into this first video where this young lady has purchased a house in LA. Let's see what she talks about.
Let me show you what $1,450 a month gets you in LA. So this is my little shoebox studio apartment. And that is it. We got no stove, no oven, but we do have a fridge. And then I have a walk-in closet. It's a mess, never mind. And then I have the most adorable tile bathroom. Oh, that's me. Hey. And oh yeah, no kitchen sink. I do my dishes in the bathtub.
All right, that sounds kind of crazy. If you're paying for over $1,000 for something like this, it's almost $1,500 at that point. Is that really what you want for your life? People dream of living in LA and New York, and then they have to face the reality that, you got to be living in a situation like this. And, they don't really tell you that, especially when I was in schooling, they didn't tell you that, the economy was going to be this way, that was going to be $1,400 a month. That would be the result of $1,400 a month. I don't think so. And if you saw earlier videos on this channel, we always talk about, life in America versus life in Europe. So let's see what this guy has to say about life in China.
Somebody DM'd me and said, you mad because you don't have a house? I don't want a house. Why do I need a house? I can go to China and live in a 4-bedroom condo for $500 a month. Furniture included, Wi-Fi. Look, I don't care about the American dream anymore. You can have that. The biggest lie they ever told you is a house is an asset. You're the one that's going to be stuck for 30 years paying mortgage, all types of taxes and fees, property tax. I'm good. I don't care. I don't need no house right now. I want cash flow. I don't care about no house. I want cash flow.
Yeah, cash flow is king. If you don't have a cash flow, and when we say cash flow, I would prefer, the passive kind of cash flow where you're kind of, you set some parameters in place where like money is flowing to you, with not as much time put in, like a business that could be a cash flow. But, it could be holding assets that give you money. There's sort of some legal parameters that you have to work around in that situation. But, if you're just owning a house, if you're just a house owner, you're paying a mortgage and you're not renting it off, that's sort of like, as you see there, it's houses are liabilities, not assets. If it's not giving you cash flow, it's probably not a good situation to find yourself in. But yeah, let's let this guy cook.
With cash flow, you can get anything you want, buy anything you want, because guess what? The money is going to continue to flow. If I want to save money, cool, put money to the side. But without real cash flow, you stuck. I don't need no house. I need a cash flow. I need real money. What you talking about? Anybody can go and buy a house, put 5% down on a house. Oh, new house, I don't care about that. That's not going to get me nowhere. Guarantee you can't travel. The more you own here in America, the more they're going to take from you or they control. Miss a few payments on that mortgage and see what's going to happen. A house is not an asset unless you're making money from it.
Yes, this could go for many things, you know, a house, a car, you know, if it's not producing your money for yourself, if you're not like renting off that car, at least if you're not Airbnb or renting that house off, that's not a good situation. You know, I remember growing up and I would always be on, I wasn't never like always on Instagram, but whenever I would see my colleagues or my school friends back from high school after graduation showing that they got a car, they got a house. And I was like, can you really afford that if you're, you know, I know you work as a nurse, like you're gonna have to keep working that job as a nurse to pay that car off or pay that house off. Like, is that, you know, do you enjoy being a nurse enough to be paying that off all the time? Like, are you secure enough in that job that, you know it's gonna pay that house off or pay that car off? You know, the job situation, the job market nowadays, it's a little unsteady, so you can't always be secure with your jobs nowadays. Like you sort of, you know, I'm pivoting my channel a little bit to like, well, I'm not completely pivoting. This channel will always be about travel, but I want to give you guys the info, this idea that jobs aren't always going to be around, you know, and I talk about AI all the time. Like AI's, you know, there's a shift in the job market with AI especially. So, you know, I'm trying to just get you guys prepared and ready for a situation like that. If I really want you guys to travel, I want you guys to be prepared. But yeah, let's keep on going.
You're constantly spending money. Money is coming out of your bank account, going towards the house. It's a liability. If you got your house on Airbnb, then it's an asset. But if you literally just buy a house and you have to pay a mortgage for the next 20, 30 years, that's a liability. That's a liability. It's not bringing you any money. But I believe it's people that try to flex and say, oh yeah, I got 2 houses. It's going to be an asset in the next 20, 30 years. Bro, I don't care. You don't even know if you're going to survive that long. People have all these plans like they know the future. They be like, in the next 20 years, 30 years, I'm going to sell it for this much. You need to pray to God and ask God that you make it to them 20 years. You see, America paints this false image where everything is just crystal clear and perfect. I hate it. It's not realistic. And I swear to God, I didn't think like this until I left America.
Yeah, no, as you see here, he didn't think like that until he left America. You know, I think a lot of ideas and your mindset shifts after you leave America for the first time. Like when you're traveling into these countries, you know, Europe for me, I've yet to go to Asian countries, but that might be on the chopping block soon. But, you know, you can't really guarantee things are going to be straight for you in the next 20 or 30 years. Like if I hear if I hear someone says that they have a plan for the next 30 or 20 years, you know, I immediately kind of like, you know, you get skeptical about something like that because so many things in life change so quickly that there's no really guarantees anymore when it comes to what you plan for in 30 years or even 20 years. So, and, you know, life has proven that, you know, you can't always guarantee that. And when I see or hear someone bragging about, like, you know, their job security, I don't think you should plan to be having the same job for 5 years at a time, you know. The point of life is so you can be able to get off of that job and go on to the next course of life, you know. You can't get too comfortable with one certain path for some situations. Sometimes, you know, it's good to have something planned out for the next 18 years. But let's see what's next. Let's see what this guy has to say.
Here's something most people in the West do not want to admit. Life in Vietnam right now for the average person might actually be better than in the US and the UK for that matter. Let me break it down for you. The cost of living in Vietnam, I eat out every day. Street food, strong coffee, it's amazing coffee, fresh fruit, a full meal for £1. Rent, £150 to £300 a month. even in major cities. No car needed, no council tax, no crushing energy bills. And in the US, even a basic life feels like a fight. Up to $3,000 rent in a decent city a month, $10 for a sandwich, $300 monthly just to keep the lights on.
Yeah, he's breaking it down for you. You know, the contrast is unreal. And he even brought it to America. This guy was using pounds. He's probably from the UK, and even he knows how terrible the situation in America is. And he's talking about, you know, life in Vietnam. This guy's living the life that he sees for himself. Like he realized how terrible things are in the Western world. Even though the whole world wants to be like the Western world, until you see things like that, why would anyone want to be in a situation like this? It's unreal. But yeah, let's get back into this.
People are not living, they are literally just surviving. And healthcare, I went into a clinic here, walked in, no appointment needed, full checkup, antibiotics, under £20, MRI scan, £50. No insurance, no paperwork, no panic really. And in the US, one trip to the A&E could wipe your savings. It's not a healthcare system, it's a money trap. And safety, let's be honest, Vietnam has petty theft, sure, but no mass shootings, kids walk home from school at night, people sit on the streets at 2 a.m. without fear. And in the US, bulletproof backpacks are now a thing.
Yeah, no, I'm very glad that I graduated high school when I did, because, you know, the things that are taking place in schools nowadays, I would never want to live. That's why, you know, it's not so bad being unk nowadays. Yeah, but bulletproof backpacks, yeah, crazy. Only in America. But yeah, let's get back into this.
Stress levels. In Vietnam, people hustle, but you don't feel the pressure to perform constantly. No one's flexing a Tesla on TikTok. No one's judging your grind. It's simple, honest work. Family-owned businesses, neighbours who still say hello. And community, you sit low on a plastic chair, share a beer with strangers, and life feels connected. Meanwhile, I think in the States, people are isolated, digital friendships, mental health is in freefall, more tech and less touch. And yet the West looks at Vietnam like it's developing. But maybe what's developing is a culture of peace, self-sufficiency, and enough. And maybe what's collapsing is everything the West told itself was success.
Yeah, this guy hit the nail on the head. Like, the American dream is gone. The American dream is dead. It's dead on a, you know, there's no coming back. Whatever changes took place, you know, either 20 or 30 years ago, whatever put America in the path that it is today, I feel like there would be a giant culture change needed for it to get back to the glory that it once was. But you know, it seems like, you know, that's not really coming back for quite some time. And again, I don't understand why any country would want to be anything like, you know, Western civilizations are today. That's why, you know, when I go to these countries, when I visit these countries, if I am reminded of America, I'm just like, you know, that pushes me more and more away from that kind of country. You know, especially when I went to Germany, I was like, okay, you know, it's decent here. It's a little bit too much like America, you know. But when I was in Ukraine and Romania, I was like, all right, you know, people seem kind of more friendly in contrast. You know, even if they didn't understand a word I was saying. Like, I remember I was in Romania, I was waiting online, and there's like this store called Luca's. They sell like little pastries, and this like little kid ran up to me, and like he was like, you know, he said something in Romania, but yeah, Romanian, not the country. But you know, that situation almost, you know, never takes place in America. But yeah, let's go on to the next video on the chopping block.
So I left the United States a couple years ago, and the one thing I've learned from traveling over 80 countries now as a digital nomad is it is literally so much more affordable to live traveling full-time as a lifestyle than it is to live in the United States. I usually split my year up into quarters. I'll spend 3 months in Europe, I'll spend 3 months in Southeast Asia. I'll go home on the holidays to visit my father and my family in the United States, but when I go back to the United States, all of my friends they're just feeling stuck. I went to college and I almost went down that path of corporate 9 to 5, and for several years I did, but I was able to escape it. And I feel so bad for a lot of my friends in the United States where the cost of living is going sky high and they're still making the same amount of money, and it's literally becoming unaffordable. I spend $300 a month.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good way to live. Like, especially with how expensive it is in America, it's almost more ideal to, like he said, it's more ideal to be traveling, country to country. He's going from Europe to Asia. It costs less to do that than to just live in America. So I think this idea of having like an online business that you could work, so you could like travel and do something similar that he's doing, 100 times better than just working in America and just living, yeah, but when you hear things like that, it makes sense as to why they would not teach something like that in schools, because I feel like everybody would be trying to escape an American situation if they heard this in schools. But that's what this channel is for, to inform you guys. And you see, most people don't know this information, so you guys are getting pretty good game now. But all right, let's get
month living in Thailand, and I live in complete luxury. It's beautiful. Next month I'm in South Korea and I'm living in luxury for $400 a month there. And I found a way how to make a 6-figure income while I'm traveling through selling digital products. And so I put together this book to break it all down. Number one, how to make money while traveling through selling digital products, that whole world. And number two, how to save money while you're traveling, and how to adopt the digital nomadic lifestyle if that's something you want to do. So if you're curious about that, on this video is my new book. It's called The Nomadic Wallet. I'd encourage you to give it a read. Have a great day.
All right, let's shout out to this guy. Get his book if you want. But yeah, college does not teach you things like this. So, do this information that you want. I'm not trying to pressure anyone, especially you in this video. We're just giving information. We're informing. Don't shoot the messenger. And, when you hear this information, don't get angry with where you are at life. I think the important thing isn't to crash out. Don't just give up in whatever struggle that you're facing right now. But when you hear this, start making concepts of a plan of probably escaping whatever struggle you are in.
Y'all, my husband and I have decided that we just can't do it anymore. We decided to break our lease early and to just leave the country as soon as possible. We're thinking Vietnam initially, then Thailand. Our plan so far is to work every single day until we get over there, to use Delta points to fly there, and to use Hilton points to be able to stay at least for free for the first 3 months. While I'm there, I plan on doing English teaching online to supplement income, but I do plan on having as much money saved as possible. Just need a mental break. At first I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take a year siesta to get my life together and, get my mental health together. But honestly, it's just so stressful being here. We don't know how long we want to stay gone, but
Yeah, no,
we do know that we're going to travel a few countries, and we want to stay gone at least 2 or 3 years now. We are literally going to turn our whole lives upside down in the next 6 months. If y'all have any suggestions, please let us know, because at this point we're just winging it. We're just going to sell everything, leave, and just take it from there.
Yeah, no, hearing a lot about Thailand nowadays. Thailand seems to be the move for most people that are trying to make this kind of travel. I have a few other countries in mind. But yeah, no, you see a lot of people are just uprooting from America and just going into their new lives. They would rather risk going into this kind of country, which, you know, isn't really much of a risk at all. It's almost more risky staying in America because you never know what's going to happen in the next few years. You know, there's a lot of sketchy situations happening in America that, you know, just look at the news, look at what's going on. Things are getting scary. But okay, let's go on to the next guy. This guy not falling for propaganda. I've been seeing a lot of videos like this, but you know, this one's a little more to lighten the mood. But let's hear this.
Here's some propaganda I'm not falling for about Europe as an American who's currently in Europe. Europeans are not more advanced than us. There's no AC anywhere. They refuse to accept global warming exists. I'm currently in Berlin and I landed at the airport and it was 80 degrees in the airport. There's no deodorant. The level of funk and BO in the European continent.
I can't say from personal experience that, you know, there wasn't deodorant. I did get deodorant myself, you know, maybe more means people aren't wearing it. I don't think I got that close enough to people to, you know, smell what was going on with them. But yeah, let's keep going.
It is unparalleled. People don't wear deodorant. They come outside and they don't shower. A mint sprig is not going to help you. You need to wash your body and put on antiperspirant. Paying for toilets. I had to pee when I got into Berlin. How do you say Hauptbahnhof station? Berlin Hauptbahnhof station. And I didn't have fucking euro coins, so I had to find a hotel and go pee. Why do I have to pay to use the toilet? Do better, because I love Berlin. I love my friends. Hi friends.
I use deodorant.
Hi friends. But yeah, the no deodorant, the no AC, and the no ice. It's currently 90 degrees in Berlin today, and I've had to beg for ice everywhere I've gone. So I think that's it. Bye, guys.
You know, there's a lot of places that don't have ice in European countries, and I just wanted to show you guys this real quick. What the temperature it was for the last few days here in New York. Let me see. This is why I was wiping my face with a towel for the last few videos. 99 degrees in New York. Insane. Insane. It's been a hot summer, as you saw in the last video. Had to glad today is a little cooler, but yeah, they don't give you ice, which, you know, I think, you know, sometimes I don't want my drink to have ice. You know, I don't want to water down my drinks all the time. So for the people that hate ice, I guess that's a plus for you. And they don't have ranch, which is a whole other thing. But you know, most places that you stay, if you do go get an Airbnb to visit Europe, the places usually will have AC. But yeah, this last video is a little more informative. I think on the internet there is no reason to really gatekeep information. There's no really secrets anymore on the internet. You know, there's really no reason to keep information. Because if you're not going to give information as a content creator, you're probably just going to find someone else to get the information from. So let me put this video on. This girl gives a lot of good info on where you can, you know, seek information if you're interested in traveling to Italy, specifically Sicily, Italy. But yeah.
So I recently learned there's a guy charging $4,000 for this information that you can readily find available for free on the internet. It's not your fault that you don't know where to find it. And since I'm not really the biggest fan of people whose entire business model is predicated on gatekeeping, especially when the information that you're withholding is intended to help grow a community, I'm not super impressed with that. So I apologize if you're watching this, sir, but I'm giving your sauce away for free. It's hidden in vague blogs and Reddit threads, or in like a YouTube video where it's someone just touring a vineyard for 8 minutes saying a step-by-step guide on how to move to Italy. I'm not gonna do that. I'm actually gonna walk you step-by-step how I moved from my little apartment in LA to less than a year later being in a 3,400 square foot home in a medieval village in Sicily.
Yeah, this is for the info for the people. This girl came from LA to move to Italy, which sounds fantastic. Sicily, especially. I hear their pizzas are good, but it's no deep dish. That's actually Chicago, but New York pizza is the best. Let's get that one thing straight. But let's continue.
I know it sounds fake. It's not, I promise. I'm gonna give you everything that I wish somebody had shown me. And I swear by the end of one of my videos, you're gonna have more actual value than the guy charging $4,000. And the best part is I'm not gonna spam you over email after. So the first thing you want to know, this is a regional specific video. If you're interested in other regions in Italy, I can't necessarily help you, but here are some great creators who can. This is for Sicily only, specifically the town of Musamelli. If you're interested in other towns in Sicily, there are also other creators that I would suggest, specifically this one. This series is going to be specific to Musamelli, Sicily, which is a medieval village where I purchased a 17-room home for 27,000 euros.
That looks amazing. You see houses in America and compare it to this, I would 100% trust this kind of house more. It looks strongly built. It looks like it'll last you a good, few decades. When you see these new houses that they build in America, they don't look like they'll last long. And I think that is a technique that, has to take place for construction America to make you pay for repairs. America runs on, being broken. But, they would never build a house like this that looks this sturdy in America. That's why things last, centuries in European countries. But yeah, let's keep on going.
Last June. If you're not familiar with the area, Musamelli is conveniently located in the heart of Sicily, so it's only about 40 minutes to an hour from both the north and the south coast. If you want to see some videos of the home under renovation or just of the village itself, you can check some on my page. Okay, now that we've got all that out of the way, here's the good stuff. So, you want to buy a house in Musamelli, Sicily, here's how to do it. First, you want to join this Facebook page. This is where you're going to be able to ask any questions.
Yeah, when you're traveling, this is, travel 101. You want to join Facebook pages. Facebook pages are number one priority when you're trying to get to know a location because, most people traveling know Facebook pages are the way to go. So, if you're interested in Italy, that definitely, she said it. I haven't checked it out myself, but you might want to check out that Facebook page.
Read any questions that other people have asked. See what kind of homes are being posted by local realtors. And this is a great way too to get in contact with them if you want. Once you do that, it's important to know that there are 3 main real estate agencies in town. I'm going to put them all here so you can screenshot that to save their names. There is one other agency that I have heard of recently that is selling homes in town. However, they are not based locally and I do not know anybody that has purchased a home from them, so I cannot vouch for them personally.
You could also transition this information for any country that you're staying at. If you want to go to Thailand, you might want to hit up agencies. I know there's a way you could just initially just go to Thailand, like Airbnb at Thailand, and then if you want to rent out an apartment while you're there, you can get your visas or whatever you need while you're already in the country, which is, especially with a country like Thailand with how inexpensive things are, it sounds like, a pretty good deal and easy to do, but let's keep going.
There's only one agency that posts the prices of the homes available. However, if you ask any other agency specifically for the price of a home, they should be able to tell you no problem. There are also a couple of local creators who I can share as well here. They post videos all the time of new homes that are coming on the market. Laura from Amateurs Abroad actually helped me a lot in the process, and so I just wanted to shout out her really quick. I know she's helped a lot of people. The agency that I went with is Immobiliare Siciliana. The amazing rock star duo are Natalie and Antonella. If you join the Facebook page, you'll see Natalie posting a lot. Antonella is her colleague, and she's originally from the UK, so she speaks perfect English if that's a concern for you at the beginning.
Again, all this information, I didn't confirm if it was good or not, but for those people in Italy, or if people want to move to Italy, it sounds like, this girl looks like she knows what she's talking about enough. So, let's just go with it. We're not here to gatekeep. But yeah, let's keep going.
And then the second agency is Immobiliare Spiaggia. And everybody that I know that has purchased a home from them has had nothing but good things to say. And their main agent is Katerina. You will see some posts on the Facebook page from her as well. And then lastly, there's MG Group. I actually wasn't aware that this agency existed when I purchased my home last year. I think they're maybe on the newer side, I'm not actually certain. But I have a friend currently working with them, and they do everything from end to end. So they'll help you purchase the home, and then they'll also help you renovate it. So I don't have any first-hand experience with them, but my friend who's working with them is also very thrilled with their work. So I hope this info reached someone before they spent $4K on it, and we're only getting started. So tune in tomorrow. Day 3 drops tomorrow. Ciao.
Yeah. You just saved $4,000 right there. But yeah, definitely a big supporter of no secrets on the internet anymore. I'm done. Like, after living life, going to school, going to college, I would hate for anyone to live their life not knowing this kind of information. So that's what this channel is for. And maybe for a future video, we might actually explore some of these kind of travel agencies, see what the pricing looks like, kind of gauge what's out there even more, for certain countries. We could do a whole video doing agencies in Italy. We could do Thailand, Singapore, Serbia. Why not? Just random USSR countries. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys got some information out of this. And yeah, leave a comment on your thoughts. What do you think the situation for America is going to be in the next 20 years? Do you see yourself as an American traveling to another country? If you're already in a country that Americans may want to move to, let us know the pros and cons of moving to that type of country. Yeah, and if you like this kind of content, leave a subscription. Feel free to. You don't gotta. If you already watched this far, I'm probably going to show up to your algorithm more. So might as well subscribe. Help the algorithm out. And if you like this video, please leave a like. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good day and try to stay cool in these temperatures. Peace.